What is your argument for Scientology being a religion?
The police should understand that Scientology uses them as tools and props, and they should conduct themselves accordingly. You know, the police are essentially, here's how I would describe it. Well, I mentioned Dan Slaughter a moment ago. Dan Slaughter, historically, has been on Scientology's payroll. That's just a fact.
It's proven.
Oh yeah, he was the guy in charge of all of the off-duty police work for Scientology.
Oh, wow.
So when I say on site, you know, it's not illegal for police to do off-duty work.
Right.
But it sure is a problem when you're doing it for a human trafficking cult that is taking over your downtown. Maybe you want to exercise some discretion on who the fuck you let your officers do off-duty work for. You know, and I've spoken to Chief Slaughter about this, and he said, look, there's an approval process on how an organization gets on that list. And once they're an approved organization, you can't exactly say no, because now you're discriminating.
How does Scientology become an approved organization of the Clearwater Police Department?
No. Just an approved organization to hire police officers to do off-duty security work.
Right, but who approves that?
Well, it's going to be that's going to be a decision made by either a person or a panel at the Clearwater Police. It's not. It's okay. Definitely not a county or a state thing. Like the Clearwater Police are the ones making that decision.
Okay.
But his point is, in order to say no, you'd have to remove them from the list.
Right.
But you'd probably have to have some cause for that. And then you'd probably have to be ready to fight a lawsuit about that. And for some reason, the city is very scared about, you know.
Are they still on the list?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So they're still hiring cops off duty to do their
100%.
Shit,
and
man.
I'm told that they pay 3 times the normal rate. This is how you get corruption. This is how you get corruption. I mean, I don't know what else would it look like? That is how you get corruption.
That is fucking bananas.
And I can tell you this, because here's the thing. What I'm not doing, I'm not even calling Chief Slaughter out for being corrupt. I actually like Chief Slaughter. And I believe he's sort of been, like, I'm not saying he's corrupt. I'm actually saying, like, I do not think Chief Slaughter is out there carrying Scientology's water for them. I think he got suckered into this the way Scientology suckers law enforcement agencies and politicians in cities all over the country into sort of kind of accidentally and inadvertently looking like they're cozy. Now, I mentioned the off-duty work. Okay, but police do off-duty work for scores of organizations. I don't think that when the Clearwater Police first started doing off-duty work for Scientology, it's because they were like, yeah, we love Scientology. We're going to help them take down their enemies. I think they were like, hey, easy money.
It's good money. Yeah.
It's good money. So I'm not even calling out Chief Slaughter is what I'm trying to say. However, here's something else to follow on. There was a couple years ago, there was several people who had gone to the police to talk about child sex abuse that they had experienced at the hands of Scientology decades ago. And all I can tell you is every single one of those people told me they were treated like fucking shit by the Clearwater Police. And that shit really pisses me off. Because it's like, if you're in the Clearwater Police, you already know you have a perception problem. You already know you have this family destroying human trafficking cult shaping the reputation of your city. You should be bending over backwards to try and change that reputation. And treating any of these victims, alleged victims, real victims, whether the police believed them, not believed them, I don't even know. Treating them with anything less than complete respect and care and patience is I'm going to use the word malpractice. I know that doesn't probably apply to police, but like, it's disgusting. If you're a detective and it's your job to handle these things and you're not, treating these victims with the utmost respect, then what you're really doing is you're reinforcing the idea that you all just fucking secretly work for Scientology and the Clearwater Police can never be trusted. Now, I don't think that about the Clearwater Police, but the Clearwater Police doesn't do anything to change that perception of themselves. And that brings up its own host of questions. Like at some point, someone's going to go, are you guys just that stupid and incompetent? Or is there really an underlying issue here? Which is what people have been saying all along. I might be kind of like contradicting, like I'm saying it's corruption. I'm saying it's not corruption. I'm saying it looks like corruption and the Clearwater Police don't exactly do anything to change people's minds. And I think they could, and I think they should. And I think here's what I think they're fundamentally afraid of Scientology. That's what it comes down to. So, decades ago, Scientology successfully sued the Clearwater government for discrimination. They were passing some ordinance that would, and I might butcher this, but I have the broad strokes correct. They were passing some ordinance that would prevent people from like handing things out or doing things. But it was very clear from the statements that had been made while the ordinance was being discussed, this was really only being done to keep Scientology from doing various things. And so basically Clearwater fucked up. Clearwater did something that allowed Scientology to sue them, and they ended up paying Scientology like $600,000 or $800,000 or something. And ever since then, they've been terrified to do anything that would allow Scientology to sue the city. And so it ends up looking like the city is doing their bidding for them. But really, they're just being really, really, really careful. So careful that it looks like they're working for Scientology. So one of the things Miscavige has started to do so that the press can't say Scientology's buying all the properties is he's having Scientologists buy them instead. And he goes, what? I don't have anything to do with that. So, but the Tampa Bay Times doesn't fall for that bullshit. So the Tampa Bay Times put a map together showing here's the properties that Scientology officially owns. Here's the properties that public Scientologists own, who have to do whatever David Miscavige tells them. And here's, so this is a report that they put out showing how Scientology basically tripled its footprint secretly over just a period of a few years. And they're doing this to screw the city of Clearwater.
Wow. And what does the local government in Clearwater, the city of Clearwater, what do they do about it? How is...
Not a goddamn thing.
Because they're getting paid by Scientology?
Because Mayor Frank Hibbard's closest friends are literally on Scientology's payroll. Joe Burdett, Mary Repper, Brian Onks Jr.
Oh my God, I know some of these people.
Yeah. Mary Repper was Scientology's lobbyist when she ran Frank Hibbard's mayoral campaign. Joe Burdett works for Scientology. Brian Onks Jr. represents the Scientologists who are buying up all the fucking property on David Miscavige's behalf.
What?
These people are pieces of shit. Taking money from a family-destroying cult, going, what? I'm just an attorney. Oh, it's like, yeah, okay. If you've also lived here for generations and you're helping this cult take over Clearwater. I don't want to hear I'm just a fucking attorney.
Right.
And Mayor Frank Hibbard doesn't have any fucking balls. He's a giant pussy. And in private, he's like, in private, he'll tell you a story about a time he once yelled at David Miscavige. Oh, you're such a fucking warrior. Thanks, dude. Oh, yeah. In private, the guy hates Scientology. It's like, I don't care what you think about in private. You're the mayor of fucking Clearwater. Say something. Do something. Because the truth is, Scientology doesn't have enough members to control Clearwater. Scientology doesn't control Clearwater. There's never been a Scientologist on the Clearwater City Council. Ever. You wouldn't know that because the press talks about everything Scientology is doing, rightfully so. And no one in Clearwater City government, other than Councilmember Mark Bunker, will dare say anything negative about Scientology. I mean, so I tend to go, Mayor Frank Hibbard and his friends are the reason people think Scientology runs this town. Because if they used their platform and, their megaphone, if they used their voices to make it clear that Scientology doesn't run this town, then people wouldn't have that fucking opinion. People have that opinion because they see what Scientology is doing and saying, and then they see everyone else doing and saying nothing.
Right.
So they go, well, Scientology, these guys must all work for Scientology, just like people think the Clearwater PD works for Scientology.
Right.
People go, well, these guys must be in Scientology's pocket or else they would be saying something, right? But they don't. They don't.